commonly super disregarded is the MiG-21S R-13 300. Sitting at 9.7 with no countermeasures, and for most people pretty obsolete missiles, it is often passed up as an effective grinder for the Soviet air tree. Yet the MiG-21S has a couple of tricks up its sleeve, and I'm going to tell you guys today why it's actually a pretty effective aircraft. So one of the main weapon systems on board the MiG-21S and other MiG-21s is the R-3R air-to-air missile. And why this missile is more effective than a lot of people might think is because it is pretty much invisible to enemy aircraft. As a radar missile, you might think, well, it would give off RWR pings, and whereas this is correct, a lot of the aircraft that you play up against cannot detect the band of radar that the MiG-21S uses. The MiG-21's radar is a J-band radar. Aircraft like the American F-4 and F-8, especially the early versions, cannot detect the J-band radar. And any of the aircraft you're going to see, except for more advanced versions or later versions, are going to be able to actually detect this. Now, yes, if they watch the missile launch, they will be able to dodge it or chaff it. But using this at, longer ranges that they're maybe not expecting a radar-guided missile, it could definitely catch people off guard. And so it's not actually as bad as you might think. Also armed with a 23mm cannon, you have some very good high-altitude performance. You are suddenly one of the more dangerous aircraft in the 9-7 region. Keep in mind that all MiG-21s carry this type of missile, just in later versions, aircraft like later versions of the Phantom are able to start to detect the J-band radar. And so just keeping that in mind that, some of these aircraft cannot see your radar or your missile, but later aircraft and much more advanced versions will be able to see that. And, another thing to keep in mind with the R-3R is it is a Generation 1 air-to-air missile. I mean, it's one of the first, it's the first Soviet, semi-active radar homing missile that's in the game. And compare this to other nations' first SAR missile, it is definitely one of the most effective, if not probably the best in my opinion. I mean, the best comparison was the American AIM-7C, that's its counterpart. And the R-3R is definitely way better than the AIM-7C. Yes, it's shorter range, but it pulls harder, it actually tracks to target, and when used properly, or, when getting lucky, I guess, you have a plane at 9.7 that can fully engage targets from the front and do it pretty freaking effectively, too. I think a big reason why people are so against running the MiG-21S or even purchasing it is because the fact that, you're 9.7 and you have no sort of countermeasures. Things like the AIM-9L and R-60Ms and MKs are going to be able to, pretty effectively destroy your aircraft, especially, if you don't run any sort of rockets as countermeasures or anything. But just staying high will pretty much keep you safe from 90% of the aircraft at this battle range that actually will carry these missiles. It's going to be a lot of the A-10s, if you get full up tiers, A-6s, Su-25s, and none of these aircraft should be at high altitudes. So for the most part, you are fine. Another nice feature about the MiG-21S is you do get access to an RWR, and unless you're going up against other MiG-21s, you can detect these sort of radar and missiles, and yes, no countermeasures, but you can simply outpull their missile. I mean, the F-4C here in this clip is a great example of this. We do both outpull each other's missiles, but if he had gone in a straight line, mine would have absolutely connected with him, and his AIM-7 never really had a chance of tracking or any hope of doing so. So just keeping in mind that this plane is far from perfect, there are definitely a lot of things bad about it, and it's not the greatest aircraft in the game, I'm not trying to say this, but the hate it gets is often because people don't understand why it's so effective. If you guys can find yourself getting this aircraft on a 50% GE sale, I'd say it's absolutely worth it. It's one of the most fun in an aircraft I've had in a very long time. I think you guys, once you learn it, will actually enjoy this aircraft. Just keeping in mind that it has a slightly different playstyle than everything else. Like most premiums, always make sure you enjoy the aircraft before you ever go and purchase it, especially if you're going to regret it later on. And if you aren't a premium player, you have access to the MiG-21 SMT and the MiG-21 BIS in the Soviet air tree. Both of those are also great options. Yes, not necessarily at 9.7, but they are, it's close enough, similar enough BRs where you should still be able to have options to go toe-to-toe with other aircraft with the R-3R and just enjoying, countermeasures at that point. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments on the MiG-21 S R-13. Please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know if you guys think the R3R isn't an effective air-to-air missile, or if you think it's more overrated and shouldn't actually be hyped up as it is. Again, keeping in mind this is a different playstyle than anything else that you're really going to see. Once you learn it though, I think you guys will have a really good time. Make sure to join the Discord that's linked down below in the description. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.